One night I was at a bar with my homegirls and I decided to call home to check on my husband. We had recently hired a maid and that's who answered the phone. I asked her could she put my husband on the phone, but she told me she couldn't because he was busy. I asked her what could he be busy doing and it's like 10 o'clock at night. She said, ma'am, I'd rather not say. I said, just put my husband on the phone, please. She finally said, I can't because he's upstairs with another woman. Now, this made me very upset. I'm thinking to myself, okay, so this is why he let me go out with my homegirls tonight. So I told the maid to go to the bathroom downstairs and look in the drawer where I keep my makeup. There should be a small gun in there. So the maid did as she was told. She said, ma'am, I got the gun. I said, now I want you to go upstairs and shoot both of them. She said, okay, ma'am, and she did it without any hesitation. I heard 2 shots go off over the phone. Then she picked the phone back up and she said, I shot them both, just as I was told. I said, good, now take both of the bodies and throw them into the pool. She said, what pool? I said, what you mean, what pool? Is this not 578 Avondale Road? She said, no, ma'am, and I hung up. One day, me and my homegirl went to a baseball game. We were standing on the sidelines. One of the players accidentally hit the ball towards us. He was asking for the ball back, and as I was picking up the ball, I didn't notice that he was already walking towards us. So I turned around and I threw the ball, and it accidentally hit him. He immediately grabbed his hands together at his private area. He fell to the ground and he was rolling around, screaming in pain. I rushed over to him and I started apologizing. I said, I'm sorry, but I didn't see you. Please allow me to help. I told him that I was a physical therapist and I know how to relieve the pain, if he allowed me to. He said, oh no, that won't be necessary. I will be fine in a few minutes. But he was still laying down on the ground in pain, holding his hands by his private area. After a while, he finally allowed me to help him. I gently took his hands away and I put them to the side and I started loosening up his pants. I put my hands inside his pants and I started massaging his private area. I did this for about 10 minutes. Then I asked him how it felt. Did he still feel any pain? He said, this feels great, but I still think my thumb is broken. I went to a bar last night by myself, and as I'm sitting at the bar, a young, handsome man approached me. He sat down beside me and ordered me a drink. He then asked me could he stay the night with me if he gave me $700. And I wasn't finna turn down $700 for one night. The next morning, before he left my house, he told me that he didn't have any cash on him. He told me that he was going to have his secretary write the check for me. And in order to keep what we did a secret, he called the payment rent for apartment. On his way to work, he decided that $700 wasn't worth what we did. So instead, he had his secretary write me a check for $350. And then he wrote me a note. The note said, this is the amount of $350 for rent of your apartment. Then the note said, I am so sorry, but I am not sending you the full $700 because when I rented the apartment, I was under the impression that it had never been occupied. And it was also supposed to have plenty of heat. Not to mention it was supposed to be small enough to make me cozy and feel at home. But last night I found out that it had been previously occupied. There was also no heat and it was entirely too large. After I read that, I decided to return the check. But I also wrote him a note. I said, first of all, I cannot understand how you expected for a beautiful apartment to remain unoccupied. And as for the heat, oh, there is plenty of heat if you know how to turn it on. Then I said, regarding the space, the apartment is regular size. But if you don't have enough furniture to fill it, please don't blame the landlady. But anyways, I need the full amount of $700 or I'll be forced to contact your current landlady. When I was 17 years old, I remember asking my dad could he buy me a new car. He told me that he couldn't afford to buy me a new car because the mortgage on our house was $40,000 a year. And at the time, my mom had lost her job. So I told him, okay, I understand, and I went back to my room. The next morning, my dad was getting ready to leave for work. He was in the kitchen drinking coffee as usual. He seen me walking past the kitchen with a suitcase. I told him that I was leaving and I hope him and mom have a good life. He stopped me at the door and he said, wait, what's going on? I said, well, Dad, last night I had to get up and go to the bathroom. And as I was walking past you and Mama's room, I heard you say, that's it, I'm pulling out. And then I heard Mom say, hold hold on, I'm coming too. And if y'all two want to leave, that's okay. But I ain't living here alone with a $40,000 mortgage and no new car.